There we go. Right. Good morning, Nat Mossart. How are you today, this week?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I've got always good with a cup of Earl Grey tea with milk. So not how you
Oh,
meant
we have
Earl Grey, but I am from Middlesbrough, and I don't know if you noticed it's a Van Gogh themed mug.
all right, is it?
So I've got
You'll have to hold it a bit closer to the camera, Matthew. Can't see it.
oh, well, I'll show you. It's
Oh,
part of a
yeah.
collection of four mugs, and I've actually got the box in my room here. I've not brought it especially, but I'll go and get it now.
You
So,
know what? I'm going to get something now as well. Wait there. I'll let you go first
yeah,
and then I'll show you
so
mine.
a set of four mugs. So they're the paintings that are covered. So I think so you obviously got some flowers, Starry Night. I think that's lilies. Is it? Uh,
Show me your mugs. Open the box and show me.
so that's the mug. So
Oh, right.
they're not in the box, but I've just kept the box because it's nice. And
I'll show you what I got as well in a minute.
go on,
Just
and
open it, baby.
I'll show
Have
you.
you got any more to show?
Yeah. Uh, Hang on. Sorry, I'm not giving a great view here, am I? Showing off my t. I'm just doing it
All
to show off
right.
my t-shirt, really, because that's
Yeah, you just don't have the artwork,
a Rocky
Matthew. I
top.
mean, you could have just said and we would have looked.
But no, so something else I got, like just I got this a while ago, but it's class. So it's a
Oh,
collection
that's
of Van
good.
Gogh's paintings, and this is like a felt, not felt, but like a material kind of tech, like
Is that,
a materially obviously everything's material, but you know what I mean. And
yeah, is
it,
that so when you're stressed out, Matthew, that you can go along to your bedroom and stroke your book?
yeah, I do that. Yeah, but like it opens out, so it's
Oh,
in
cool.
terms of his paintings, it opens out.
Yeah.
So like
So
they're
does that have information about his paintings in then?
so yeah, so that one, well, so it's mainly, I mean, I love that, like his use of yellows, like I think are incredible in how he
Yeah.
captured the sky and the sun, and one of my favorites. I won't find it, but it's like the I think, well, that's one of my favorites. I think that's absolutely stunning.
Mm.
Beautiful, and but there's one I got like with haystacks, and you do like wheat fields and stuff, just fantastic. But that you get a book with it that tells you
Oh,
about
that's good.
each of the paintings that are in it, and then I've also got his complete works and a well, I'll show it anyway because now I'm on a roll, I might as well. But because this is these is it Taschen? I don't know how you pronounce it, but we make this book and they do it on various artists. And it's like the complete works. And it's just a
All right.
beautiful book. It's like really, it's like a heavy with small writing, but it's got like all of his work and all it's a biography as well. It's yeah,
Jesus, it's huge, isn't it?
yeah. So say anyone's favorite artist, they do all sorts and even better. They've just brought out a Rocky one, like with just all you need to know about Rocky. So clearly, if anyone ever
It's
wants
made for you.
to support a struggling artist, then that would be appreciated. But yeah, so anyway, so yes, I'll that's my random um diversion. So yeah, what did you want to show us?
Well, first of all, what I will say is if that I was reading that book there that you've got, I would have to whip out the big gigs for that.
Big gigs.
Yeah, my gigsticles would have to come out. So,
You'll have to wear
for
them next
Christmas,
time.
yeah, I'll have to. For Christmas, my daughter got me like numerous things, and in there was this box. And I was like, oh, what's this?
Ooh.
So when I opened it, there's a little saucer
Oh well.
and a little teacup that goes on the top.
Yeah, that's class.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really, really good.
I mean, I won't say I'll drink tea out of it, but I will certainly put some rum in there,
I
I
was going to
reckon.
say, get some special brew in it.
Yeah, I'll have to take a little photo of myself drinking it.
Yeah. Do they still do Diamond White?
Diamond, I don't even know what that is.
What? It was lethal white cider. Lethal. My first ever drink induced chunder
Oh.
was caused by Diamond White in the Kirk. Many, yeah, that's not there either. But yeah, uh, yeah, this is clearly unscripted stuff. But yeah,
Do you remember Lambrella?
no,
It wasn't Lambrini. It was even much more of a knockoff than Lambrini. That's how bad it was. That's what we, and every time I say to people, do you remember Lambrella? They're like, no, no.
didn't
Like
Rihanna
literally
sing? Didn't Rihanna
nobody.
sing about that?
No, that was under my
No.
umbrella.
There's a task for you. So for your channel, maybe you could record Nat as Rihanna singing Lambrella. You could make up your own
Under my
lyrics, everything
under
to
my
help
umbrella, Lambrella.
us understand the whole umbrella thing because I've never heard of it, and you can drink it out of your Van Gogh teacup.
Oh no, Matthew, in them days there was no cups involved. It was straight from the bottle.
Was
You
it
passed it round your mates as well and got everyone's mouth germs.
lovely? Lovely. Well, it's speaking of that. I think it was like in Van Gogh, it was like absinthe and stuff. They used to be out of the tree on that, didn't they? But I know with Van Gogh as well. One of the
Mm.
um, one of the theories I've read about his mental illness was, and I was just thinking that you could use it as if you didn't drink tea, you could use it as your water for when you're painting. Um, but one of the things that they used to do is it often lick the brush, and because of what was contained in
Yeah,
it was toxic basically, what was in the paint.
yeah. I think
So,
it was it, oh no, I'm gonna say was it the blue? I can't remember. There was a certain pigment that was
yeah,
deadly,
yeah,
really badly. There's
yeah, and
poison there.
so yeah, so the thing that well, one of the theories is that may have affected his
Mm.
brain, but
Possibly, yeah, when you think of it. Well, it's like Bob, I was gonna say Bob Moss, but Bob Ross.
I've heard that Bob
Um,
Ross is a bit strange, like.
I was watching a documentary about him, very interesting actually. I think I told you about that one. And in the documentary, it got mentioned that the thought that, you know, the paint thinner that obviously I use
Yeah,
like what a little bottle, it's a special one for
yeah,
paint, but obviously back then they were just using terps. And they were saying that because he was dipping his brush in it and like wafting it onto the easel,
yeah,
that he
yeah.
was like sending all the particles into the air, and they were wondering whether that contributed to actually what actually killed him in the end.
All right.
Yeah, I think he died of cancer, if I remember right. I could be wrong, but they were wondering whether that could have
Yeah,
made it happen.
right. All right. No,
It's really sad, actually. It just shows you how serious us artists are. Like, I remember a few times that I've used terps when I've run out of master, and even in the early days, I would use terps a lot as well. And I've had like a, a cup of terps and a cup of juice. And there's been a couple of times I've
I
went,
know what's coming
oh no, that's the
here.
terps.
Flipping heck. Do you use, is that something you use with oils?
Hmm.
And what does it do? 'Cause I've never used
Yeah.
oil. So what does it do? Is
So
it thin it a bit
I
or?
used to use it, yeah, I used to use it a lot to clean my brushes with
Yeah.
because you dry. This is the only downside about oils is when you use acrylics, you can just run to the tap and rinse it
Yeah.
and off it goes. But with oil, it's like gloss what you'd paint on your
Yeah.
skirting board. It's thick and it's greasy and it's you just can't get it off even with fairy liquid. It just does not leave. So you have to use terps to
Oh,
clean your brushes with to get it away. Um, but often people will put a drop in the paint to thin it out.
yeah. Yeah.
So if you were doing a painting, so I will show you mine actually to explain this a bit easier because that's exactly what I'm about to do with my painting now.
All right, okay.
So, do you remember the wooden canvas I showed you last time?
Yeah, yeah.
So I've been painting on it,
Oh wow.
which is this one here.
Oh wow.
So I'll bring it in. Can you see how I've like done there's a background, like a
Yeah,
wash, and then you can see where I've used dark brown and I've
yeah,
used like a lighter white colour. So
yeah,
what that's actually acrylic. So what I've done is I've literally just blocked in my highlights and my shadows.
yeah,
And then I've done an acrylic wash on the background, which I did that first before I did the shadows and things. And now what I'm doing next is I'm going to be getting, I don't want to say exactly what I'm doing because I don't
yeah,
want to give away what it is
yeah.
just yet, but I want like a yellowy colour and
Right.
I want it to be see-through. So I'm going to be using my paint thinner that I actually have
All right,
to
okay.
mix in. And what it does is it makes the paint transparent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when
Ah,
I paint it over this, all these will shine through the paint. But
ah,
what the oil does is it gives it the colour.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, that's really interesting that.
you can combine both. You can't put acrylic over oils, but you
Right.
can put oil over acrylic. So
Yeah, because acrylic dries
this would
really quick, doesn't it?
yeah, I mean this here, if I did all this in oils, I'd still be waiting for it to dry now.
Yeah,
So for me, doing the hard, the more technical part, at the
yeah,
beginning where you're blocking everything in,
yeah,
it's much easier just to do it in acrylics because then you can go over the top with your
yeah,
oils and it's so you're not doing it for as long basically.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Right.
yeah, it gives you more time because with oils, I mean, even when you do it's called a glaze when
Yeah. All right.
the
Okay. Yeah,
picture
I've
is
I've
drying.
heard of that, but I didn't know that that's how. All right. Okay.
So when I put that over the top, I might think, well, do you know what? Our cheeks need to be a bit more rosier. So I will make like a rosy coloured glaze after I've got to wait till that glaze dries and then I
Yeah.
can put it over the top and it just gives the hint of the colour. So I
Yeah.
like all different glazes over the top. That's how you do that's how I did the big one I made of Molly.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, I really look forward to seeing that. When are you looking to have that? When do you think you'll have that one finished?
May take a bit longer because I mean I've got another, but I'll show that in a bit. Because of the waiting between layers, it's
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
best because you know
I,
yourself, you get in
I
the
couldn't do
mode and,
that.
and the zone, don't you? And
Yeah. Yeah.
you're like, I need to paint right now, so you'll
Yeah.
get on with it. But when you've got to put it down because you're like, oh, I really want to finish it, but
Yeah.
still wet. You have to bloody wait now. So you
Oh,
have to leave it to dry before you can actually go back. But drying time, Matthew, between layers is usually around about a week.
I couldn't do that. Honestly, I've got this thing where I've just got to finish it now. And I'll get to a certain point where it's like I've got to finish it. I'm at the point now.
Yeah.
This is my last sitting. I'm going to finish it, and it might be 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Like that's rare to be fair.
Do you not find the light though? If the light in your house, I don't like to paint at night because I feel like if you're doing it by natural light through the window, you can see your colours better. But
Uh,
when you're doing it by like artificial light, I think it alters your colours and you
uh,
don't see them as well.
I don't know. I haven't got. I clear. My eyes not as refined as yours. I think. I don't know. It's like I've never known. I mean, I've never noticed because to me, like
Mm,
where my house is, it doesn't get a lot of light anyway. So
yeah.
I'll often, so if I'm working in the kitchen, I'll often have the lights on anyway, even if it's during the day. My dad would go mental if he heard that. But it's because you don't get enough light, and you do obviously you need to see the colours. But I mean, without wishing to stereotype, and I was saying on one of the posts when you and one of your followers were talking on about the umbers, and well, it was the last podcast, wasn't it? And I said
Yeah.
because that's it
It
for
was
me.
on
A
YouTube.
book, I'm still red, brown, yellow, blue, green. When you get into all these azure and I'm like blue, I'm like, but all that said, one of the things that's frustrating me recently is painting painting boxing gloves because the
Mm,
obviously red, oh, I say obviously,
yeah.
usually red. but the red that I've got is different to the red, and it doesn't matter as long as the red. I mean,
Yeah.
but when you can't get the color of your reference, like, say, I'm not hung up anyway on, you know what I mean? It's like that it has to be exactly like, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is. I don't know. I'm just finding that a bit frustrating because it looks a lot more vibrant on the picture than I can get it on my painting. But it's a mine.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I do. It can be quite, when you've got a reference, you're putting yourself under so much pressure with it that
Yeah,
it's hard when you can't get something right or exact. But I suppose in a way that's what makes it yours,
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. It's
The
your
fact that it's a bit
representation.
different. But
Yeah,
Matthew,
exactly.
if you were painting by window light, your reds may look a different colour.
That's a good point. Or I can just use a filter on my phone.
Well, yeah,
No,
you
I
could.
don't do that. But well, I don't do that. But that said, that is one of the other frustrating things. And I can't remember if we talked about this before, but when you take a photo of it for a print or to post on your social media or whatever, it never looks like the actual painting does it? It's always, I don't know, a bit muted or
Yeah. Well, another trick I do is I put it by the window when I
yeah,
take the photograph. I lay it in front of the window because natural light, I mean, it
yeah,
depends. If it's a painting, natural light tends to bring out the brighter colours more.
right, okay,
If it's a charcoal drawing, or graphite's worse for this, but if you're near a light source, especially graphite, it has like a shine to it.
all right,
So
okay,
when the light's shining on it, you can see all the shiny sort of
all right,
yeah, the lines under the light when you try and take a photograph. So it's always best to bring that out of the window
yeah,
light.
yeah, all right, okay. That's very interesting. These all,
And outside. You can photograph them outside. I've seen me walk outside of my paintings, doing a photo shoot in the garden.
and ignoring your cat.
Yes, the cat, the very neglected cat.
Oh, that was funny. That was funny. I did want to. So I don't know if I probably said on here, but I lost my cat last year. Well, I,
Yeah.
I didn't just lose it; it was a traffic accident. But
Mm.
but one of the things, and people they say this about cats sometimes that that they're unsociable or a dog's always happy and greets you, cat's not like that. But I mean, cats have very different personalities between them. But
Oh,
my
definitely.
cat was very affectionate and would wait for me to get home. So if he was in the house, as soon as the key went in the door, you'd see him either jump off the windowsill or you'd get in, run downstairs. He'd always come and greet you. And if he was outside and you pulled up, he'd lie on the floor and want you to rub his belly, which is a
Oh,
sign because that's a vulnerable thing for them to do, isn't it? And if
yeah, it is. Yeah.
walk to the shop around the corner, he'd follow me, and it's really funny when you turn around, you just see them following you. But yeah, it was really lovely seeing your cat following you later because yeah, it brought back memories
Oh,
uh,
that's
of
lovely.
Simba. But that said, I mean, obviously you were cruel and ignored your cat. Um,
Yes.
Terrible. I hear you were pulled up on that.
Yes. So I thought, when I come home from the school, my cat is usually hanging around, right? Like, she's a proper chav. She hangs around street corners, right?
Looking for scraps, looking for a bit of
Yeah,
trouble.
with little tracksuit bottoms on. And I come round the corner, right? And she waits for me. She does it all the time. So I knew she'd be there. So I got my phone ready, right? And I thought, you know what, today, usually I'll go in the house, but there has been times where I've gone past the house to go to the shop and things
Yeah.
like that. And so come with me. So I thought this would be quite funny. So I was walking down the road and I could see her. And I carried on, instead of going to my actual house, I walked around the corner and I had my phone at the side of me to see what she would do, whether she would follow. I
Yeah.
knew she would, right? And I only got to the end of the street, and the street is absolutely tight. It's the length of my
Yeah.
house. That's how long the path is. And I just walked down this little path, and I capture her running after me with the camera, like holding it up. And then at the end, I crouched down and give her a little scratch. And I thought it was quite funny that.
Yeah.
So I thought it's cute. So I uploaded it to Facebook, and I captioned it. I think it was the caption that triggered everybody, but I captioned it, pretending I don't know my cat to see how she will react. I mean, we've all ignored our cat at times. There
You
can
have
be a
to.
right pain in
Like,
the
yeah, I'll
backside.
drive you up the ball.
Anyway, the first few comments were people laughing and people were reacting to it. Um, and then I think it was about a day or two later, my phone's going off, going off, going off. And I thought, bloody hell, what the hell's going on? So I checked my phone and it's like all these hundreds of people have like liked and reacted to this reel, which shocked me at first because I thought, bloody hell, I sit for hours painting and drawing. I might get a handful of likes, but ignore my cat in the street and I get hundreds. Right? So I'm doing the wrong thing, Matthew. I might just walk around and walk past random cats in the street and I'm made for life.
I was going to say that's it. Ignore cats and then pay 30 pence for a wee. And that's it. Yeah, that you can retire. Your work
Oh,
is done.
that's what I mean. You take photographs of a toilet saying it costs 30 pence for a wee, and the internet goes crazy. You ignore your cat. Jesus, the internet's right on your reel. But yeah, so anyway, these comments started, and it was like, this is cruel. This is really cruel. This is mean. And I'm like, are these people living on the same planet as me? Like, what is wrong? What? So I'm thinking they must be winding me up here. I thought they must be joking. And then this woman commented and she's like, this is disgraceful, this is cruel, or something like that. And she's like, do you know that cats have the same mental ability as like a toddler and she doesn't understand what you're doing to her? This is cruel. So I was like, so I commented back and I'm like, cruel? Question mark. I was like, yeah, walking past my house and have my cat follow me has scarred her for life. I best get her a therapist. And then she starts replying back. I mean, I'm sat absolutely creased laughing, right? Honestly, I couldn't get over the comments. Then she ended up telling me that I sound like a jerk because I wasn't rising to her crap, basically. She said that I sound like a jerk. And then she said that I don't deserve pets. And she hopes that my future is pet free. And then she said I was a desperate attention seeker. And she said I'm the type of person that would make a toddler cry for clicks. And in the moment, I thought, well, I don't have a toddler because my kids are all older, but
Yeah.
if I had one,
Well, you, yeah, I was going to say,
maybe.
well, you've done all right. You've safely raised a number of toddlers. So, but it is rich getting criticised for your behaviour on the internet by someone that clearly enjoys trolling strangers on the internet.
Well, I even said to her because she said, "Oh, this is what I think," and I said, "Well, it's just as well. I don't care what you think." And then I said, "And
That's
if you
fine.
don't mind," I said, "if you don't mind, I've got more pets I need to go and neglect."
Yeah.
And she wasn't happy.
But this is another thing, I suppose it right. So this is the thing about social media, I guess. The
Mm,
It's too and people are so quick to judge
yeah.
rather
Oh, absolutely.
without any context. And you can do that about anything. You can take a snapshot of anything and make it look whatever you want. And
Yeah.
it's like there's a famous, wasn't there, about an apple. I can't remember, I say famous, but it's one I've seen quite often about where on the outside, like on the out, you see it from the back and it's all beautiful and shiny, and then you turn it round and it's all kind of
Mm,
rotten and stuff. It's like, that, but you need to understand the context of something, and like you only need to look at your just through your videos over the course of a week. You've got rats running up and down your stairs. You've got Pepper trying to get one over on the on the cat. You got bloody about a million snails building a civilization in your home. It's like, yeah, and all of your first aid you've done, haven't you? You've rescued animals, and
yeah.
so yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like the fact that she'd say that to you when, clearly
Yeah,
hasn't any idea who you are and what you do. I mean, I don't know why.
exactly.
You know who I am, but anyway, uh, yeah, yeah,
It, people are quick to judge, and it's as simple as how can you judge somebody when you've only just seen one
yeah,
thing? Like you
exactly.
don't know them in person. I mean, I honestly, I didn't take any of it seriously. In fact, I
Yeah,
was
you
kind of egging them on, to be fair. There was one man in particular. This one threw me. I weren't expecting this one on a morning on the way to the school. Like he'd said, cruel. So I replied, sure, with like a eye rolling emoji.
yeah, yeah.
His reply to me was, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on this podcast.
Yeah, you say
I'll
what you
spell it
want.
out.
No, you say what you want. Sorry.
Okay, and I quote, he called me a cunt. And
That,
I said, thanks.
that is just. I mean,
How awful is that?
hey, and right, right. Again, the hypocrisy. These people have no self-awareness. Go on that,
Mm,
call someone cruel, and then say that to a total stranger. Like,
exactly.
what are
And do
you?
you know what? The worst part is, it's like I wasn't rising to them because, I mean, usually, to be quite honest, this time 3 years ago, had I had comments like that, I'd have thought, oh my God, do people think I'm
Yeah,
cruel? I'd have ran and deleted my reel. But honestly, I think I've just grown so much as like a person over the last
yeah,
few years. I honestly don't care.
yeah,
It's like, I'm not gonna, I think what they wanted me to do was be abusive back,
yeah.
but I
They get
wasn't.
off
I
on that,
was
don't they?
humouring them.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And then I did say at one point as well, she said, obviously you do care what I think because you can't help yourself to reply, she said. I said, oh no, I said, I'm actually enjoying the conversation. I don't get many trolls. And she said, I'm not trolling you. I'm just telling you that you were awful to your pet.
wow.
But you know what I reckon? I think because I did think at first, right? There's a couple of comments. I mean, you always get your handful of idiots
Yeah,
in a group of people. So
yeah,
I did think, do you know what? Maybe there's just a couple of people that have seen it
yeah, yeah,
and they don't like it. But then they started coming in crowds, and I thought, there's too many of these people for this to be a coincidence. I reckon somebody has shared it to like a crazy Catwoman page, and they're all sat there behind the keyboards with all the 22 cats sat on the back of the chair, and they're like this because, like, I'm a cat owner, and
yeah,
if I saw somebody else with that video, I'd find it quite funny. I'd say, "Oh, my cat does that too."
yeah.
But yeah, it's. I reckon someone shared it
Well,
in where all these people are like
yeah.
gathered together and
Well, the other thing, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can well believe someone like that would do something like that. I think the other, and I don't know if this is the case, but because the algorithm works, doesn't it? Where Facebook, it wants people engaging or in
yeah,
content. So if it thinks it, so it knows who to show it to. So it's like, I know if I do post one of my boxing paintings, um, my kind of boxing friends, if you like them. And it's not necessarily because, well, you'd think, well, yeah, obviously, because they're the ones that like boxing. But I think
yeah,
it's because they're being shown it, whereas they wouldn't necessarily be shown my other stuff because Facebook will show it to the people who are most likely to engage. And I wonder if it's picked up on that,
true.
the negative, and then another. So, all right, we'll share it with people who pile in on strangers because that's how they get their revenue through engagement, through sharing, through
Mhm.
more time on site. So I wonder if they've deliberately shown it to, they'll have like a
Possibly.
category of cat assholes.
Well, there was quite a lot of shares, and I don't get notified who's sharing it and where
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
So I wouldn't know whether someone
yeah,
shared it and said, look at this person neglecting her cat, and it's automatically triggered all these people to jump on. But there was also a man that commented, and this made me, I was laughing as I replied, to be honest. And my son always says, Mum, why'd you laugh at your own jokes? And I say, well, if I find them funny, I'll bloody laugh.
it's funny. Will I?
But yeah, it was he'd wrote something like, "What is this crap showing up on my news feed?" So I replied and said, "Well, to be quite honest, it might be better if you block me. I said, the simple fact is now you've commented on it, you're probably likely to see more
Yeah,
of my
yeah.
stuff. And I won't lie, the stuff I post is crap. So you will see more of my crap. Because let's face it, most of my videos are daft.
But it's good laugh though, isn't it? And it is that
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, you don't like something, block it. Like but
Yeah.
that's it. People have, or a lot of these kind of people, they have to have the say, they have to have a dig, and like you say, they want a reaction. So
Yeah, they do.
whereas, and your instinct is usually come back with something, but then you're like, "Ah, I can't be asked. I've got better things to do myself."
Honestly, I'd never, I was only saying a few weeks before to my cousin, right? Do you know what? I said, I feel left out on Facebook. I said, because I look at other people's pages and they've got all these trolls. And I said, I never get any trolls. Maybe I'm just too, come across as too nice and people don't want to troll me. I don't know. Like, what is that? Am I just, do I not post anything that people want to troll? I mean, even artists get trolls and I barely get any. So I thought, when I got some, I was like, yay, I got some trolls.
But you know what? Have you noticed, right? The generally speaking, they've either got they won't have a profile picture. They'll have a
Mm,
random or really random, like scary image of whatever they think scary. But
yeah.
or and they'll have like one post and no friends. Or they'll have a series of posts with no reactions to them whatsoever.
Mm.
Or if they do have a photo, it'll be a terrible blurred selfie of half of the head. Like, what the hell? Like, oh yeah, I'm really
Well,
bothered what you think like.
well, a lot of them had cats on their profile.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I'm not
You got a
judging
very
women.
specific kind of troll there, haven't you?
Yeah, a cat troll, the cat police. I will say though, to all the women that might be watching this, who are, have 22 cats on their sofa, I would never judge you on that.
No.
But, people who have 22 cats and troll over people, that
Yeah,
is
yeah,
another
yeah, yeah.
story.
Yeah. Yes, nothing as strange as folk. So,
No,
that was, again another interesting. I do like our diversions. Um,
yeah,
well, I'd like to share a bit, if that's okay, of what I've been
absolutely.
doing with my painting because I've um
Mhm.
I've expanded what I do a bit. So I've always painted portraits, and I I do I kind I suppose I find something and then I go all in on that, and then it's like, but I also want to be learning and doing something slightly different. So with the portraits I chose, it's like there'd always be a feature or a color or something where it's slightly different from the last one in terms of keeping me engaged and developing and whatever. And so it started off, I'd only do kind of front on. And
Like
then,
a headshot.
yeah, and part of that was a confidence thing, because like angles.
Mm.
Anyway, then, I got to, being able to paint from different things. I always painted on the same size, but I also thought that at the time, it's like, well, one, I'm learning, but also it's like, I think there's something about having a style that you're exploring or that you're
Mm.
working in at a particular time that it always helps to be recognized, something that be recognizably yours, I guess. So anyway, I'd always just done that, and then um, I've had a few commissions that involved more than one person, so I used a bigger canvas, so that kind of
Yeah.
opened that up a bit to working at a different size, and then so from that I painted Axl Rose, for the Guns N' Roses lead singer, and he's kind of doing his singing, his howl, whatever you call it, and it wouldn't have worked. I didn't think it'd work just his head. I wanted to use that photo because of the expression and the power in it, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't have worked just as a head. So he's singing the microphone. So I did that, and then he's kind of down to about here, because it's like if you just saw him like you'd think, well, what's he doing? You had to know that he was singing, and that was an expression. And so
Yeah.
the physic, you needed some kind of physicality in there. So anyway, from that, I
It's
thought,
a brilliant piece, that one. I've seen it on your page.
yeah, well,
Absolutely fantastic.
someone said that they could hear him singing when they saw it. They heard his voice.
Oh,
And
really?
I loved that. I loved that.
What a lovely compliment that is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Because it's that
Yeah,
not just a picture; it's what it evokes in you. So yeah, I was looking
exactly.
at that. So
Yeah.
anyway, I thought, well, so boxing's a big thing for me. That's my kind of big love, and so I thought, well, I'll try and capture a boxer and something about the physicality and
Yeah,
and on a big canvas. So I've got this is a kind of a much bigger canvas. So this is a guy,
that's brilliant.
one of the best boxers I've ever seen, Roy Jones Jr. And obviously, like so I wanted to capture his kind of it's kind of obviously some of the physicality. And the thing with Jones, he was the most generally considered the most athletically gifted.
Matthew, that your painting?
Yeah.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thank
I
you.
don't know if I've seen that one. That's brilliant, that.
So that's the
Absolutely
first one
amazing.
of that physicality kind of thing. And he was
Yeah,
generally considered the most athletically gifted fighter. And the I thought I've quite like a good mixture of that. Obviously, you look at how muscular he is, but also he
yeah.
kind of looks very relaxed with it, through his hand position, and that's how he fought. So I was really happy with how I captured that. And so,
That's brilliant. You should be proud of that.
thank you. So from that,
Yeah, very.
I thought I want to capture fight scenes, and this is something I've thought about for a while. But again, I've not painted bodies, but I just thought, and I've said this before, like one of the biggest limiting things as an artist is think, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do eyes, I can't do whatever, because it's all just
Mm.
colors and shapes, colors and
It is. That's the mistake a lot of people do is they want to draw an eye, but you don't
yeah,
ever draw the eye. You draw the different shades,
yeah,
the
yeah,
different like shapes and the highlights and all that coming together becomes an eye.
yeah, yeah,
I know we've
exactly.
covered that before on this, haven't
Yeah,
we?
but it's like, so from there, so I painted my first fight scene, and that's one of he's one of my favorite boxers. So this guy, Jack Dempsey, this is a fight from 1919, and it's a colorized version of a black and white photo.
Yeah.
I didn't colorize it; it was colorized, and um, he's one of my favorite fighters. I've got him tattooed on my leg, and I've been wanting to paint him for a while. But the old portraits are black and white and grainy, and I've not really found a good one to do. And so I did this one, which I was really happy with, and because there's so much more to concentrate on different elements, and so it was a good challenge for me, and I loved doing the background, and it's yeah, I don't know, just little things that I really enjoyed doing. So that's my first fight scene, and then it's like, right, I'm going to do as many fight scenes as I can.
I'm
So,
so sorry to interrupt, Matthew. 1 second. My cat needs me to neglect her and put her in the garden.
all right, okay. Well, you go
One
and do
sec,
that.
I'll
I was
be
going to say we don't want any trolls on this.
come on, quickly. She couldn't get outside quick enough in case I pulled my phone out and started recording her.
So,
Sorry about that.
oh
What were
no,
you
that's
saying?
okay. So so yeah, there's a load of fights now. So I've got a list of loads of fights I want to paint. But
Yeah.
that one there, that first one I did was the canvas was I found a bit too small, like in terms of the
Mm,
fiddly bits. So my next one, I've done it on a canvas that's slightly bigger. You can see the difference in size, I think.
yeah.
So right, so this is from Rocky Four.
It's brilliant that.
And saying I like the fact that you have stuff to do in the background. Again just different elements that you're getting to focus on. And one of the things I've really loved as well is that obviously as a portrait, it's all about the facial features, whereas with
Yeah.
this, it's about the physicality. But
Yeah.
obviously that you want them to be recognizable as well. But one of the things I found really interesting is because there's not much detail to capture in the face, the fact that I've been able to get a reasonable likeness to the picture without, and it's really with only a few, very few brush strokes, and it hasn't actually taken a lot. I mean, it's taken a,
Mhm.
the getting it, that like honing it, if you like. But you can get, it surprised me how you can get a likeness on a face like with just a few lines. And so in the progress,
Yeah,
not the thing where you're just like laying it down, the how it, the structure and all the rest of it, and how with just a few lines you can pretty much capture who it is. So that's been a
it's
real,
crazy, isn't it? When
yeah,
you think of it like that, and you
yeah,
just think, God.
because that's
But yeah, that again is absolutely superb. It really is.
well, one of the things I mean, I really love about them is six. Obviously, like I say, I want with portraits, you're capturing the something about that person. But obviously, box is
Yeah.
obviously the most physical sport there is, and so that capturing that physicality and they're almost making it
You've captured
look like it's in
the
motion.
light on the muscle.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, really happy with that. And I've got my
You
next
should
one.
be.
Thank you. So my next
Brilliant.
one, I'm finishing. I'll finish tonight, and I'm really happy with.
Mm.
I'm really happy with it. I'm looking forward to getting it finished and being able to share it. But I'm doing a
Are you
collection.
allowed to say what it is?
Yeah, because I'm doing a collection. So I mean, there's loads of fights I want to paint, but I'm going to start off with a Mike Tyson collection. So I've already done
Right.
I've done two portraits of him, but
Yeah.
there's gonna be, so I'll use that portrait that I've got as part of the collection, and then there's four of his fights that I've got really iconic images that I'm going to paint. So the one I'm painting now is a fight with Trevor Berbick where he won the world title at the age of 20. So that was kind of, so it's basically four significant moments in his career. So there's that one
Yeah.
where he became the youngest world champion ever and he became famous at 20 years old. Then the second one, he fought a guy called Michael Spinks, who was expected to be his toughest opponent at the time, wiped him out in a minute and a half. It was the biggest fight ever at that point. And at that moment, that was his pinnacle. It was only like 22, I think, at that time. What year was it? 88. So yeah, 20, it would have been 20, 22 at that time. And it was, it's considered unbeatable. People thought, yeah, who's going to beat this? Who's going to beat this guy? So that was his pinnacle. Then he got knocked out by Buster Douglas 2 years later in 1990, only three fights later. So that was the biggest upset in boxing history. So I'm
Mhm.
capturing that one. And then he probably what he's most well known for amongst a lot of people. He bit Evander Holyfield's ear. Like, so having lost, he was a shadow of himself. He was never the same person in the ring. He'd lost, a lot of what had made him as good as
Yeah.
he was. He'd kind of really neglected, and so it's that four key because his career and him as an athlete, whatever you think about him, like someone started to me yesterday, said, "Is he your favorite fighter?" I said, "Oh no, not at all. Like not by a long shot." But I grew up watching him, and he's the most fascinating fighter, and
Yeah. He's
yeah,
got a person. I mean, I don't know. I won't pretend to know that I know a great deal about boxing because I don't. But even I knew about the ear thing,
yeah,
and it's he has like a probably more of like a relatable character, but also because he is a character,
oh yeah,
he's got a
exactly,
lot of things about him that makes him stand out.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely. And that,
like you could imagine him being the crazy fella that lives in your on your estate, something like that.
yeah, well, yeah, well, that, and says in terms of capturing the physicality, I mean, he was an absolute powerhouse. So again, it's
Yeah.
really, and even the pictures are different. So there's one, like the one I'm painting now is him landing a really big punch. One of him against Spinks, him standing over him, and
Mm.
and then there's obviously him getting knocked down. So it's just like I think it'll. and then finally after this fight, I'm going to paint a portrait of how he is now as a kind of much older man.
Right.
He's got a white beard. He's obviously got his tattoo.
Yeah.
So I just it'll be a collection that just captures, you know,
Yeah.
and
I was going to say these will be such a collectible thing because they're capturing different parts of his life. Or it's almost like a biography of his
yeah,
career.
yeah.
And I was going to ask, do these have titles?
Um, I'm going to title well, nothing fancy. I'm going to title the collection, uh,
Mm,
and I will title the paintings. Um,
yeah,
maybe I mean I'll share them as I paint them, but then when I put them as a collection, I'll probably give them the names at that point when it's all finished, because it's then
yeah.
each it's like chapters in a story, and so it won't just be
Well,
Tyson
that's sort of thrown
what it
that
represents.
that yeah, it's sort of throwing yourself in at the deep end. Like instead of going, right, we have this one painting right here that I need to name. Okay, what can I call it? Oh, I know, I can call it this. You're like, I've got all these hundreds of paintings right now that I need to pick a name individually for. Do you not find that difficult?
Well, 'cause I suppose because you know, I've done a lot of writing in the past. That
Yeah,
thinking
I
of it as a
suppose.
story, thinking of it as a story, I think that's how I'll approach
Mm,
it. But I really like that idea of painting a collection that has a narrative, and
yeah,
um because one of the other things with me, and I've said this, but see, I don't feel creative in the sense that when I'm painting, I'm reproducing an image, and obviously it's my version of it. It's, you know, creative in the extent that it's what I put into it. But, you know, essentially, I'm copying a picture. But working on a collection, I don't, and choosing the different moments and the story I want to tell. I suppose it
yeah.
feels kind of a more creative way of presenting what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. The way I see it as well, it's not just you like copying a picture. It's not you just looking at a photo and what you're doing is, you're taking in through your eyes, you're observing this image. Then it's filtering through your brain. Then it has to go along all these different areas of your brain to figure out where
Yeah,
am I going to put this. Then your eyes and your hands are all involved in getting that back on the canvas and it takes a great deal of concentration. There's everything involved in it's filtering through your brain and onto that canvas, and your whole body's involved in getting it there.
yeah. That's true.
So
That's
it's,
true.
it's not just you going, look at this picture, let's stamp it on there.
Yeah,
It's you creating it through your mind and how you
yeah,
see it. Because the way I look at it, everybody sees the world differently.
yeah, yeah,
So even though yes, it's an image that you're using as a reference, how you see that reference might be different to how somebody else sees it. And if you see that reference in
yeah,
an emotional way,
yeah.
you might capture that in an emotional way and add emotion to it, which wasn't there before.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And that the Rocky painting, I don't know,
Mm.
Tony Little as a shout out posted. He'd painted the same scene,
Saw that,
and you
yeah,
posted in your group, didn't he? Both of them together,
yeah,
and it was really nice. And Tony's got a very expressive style. It's like more impressionistic, I'd say. Again, I'm no
yeah,
expert on all the, but he and he's really vivid, and again that sense. I don't know. He bring like there's a sense of kind of motion in it, and seeing them together,
yeah.
I really like that, and it's exactly that. It's any, two takes on the same thing, and
He captures movement really well in his
yeah,
pieces as
yeah.
well.
And energy,
Yeah, I love his work.
energy, yeah, energy. There's so much
Yes,
life in it, you know.
yeah, very
Um,
energetic, very.
yeah, yeah. So
That's a good word, good word to describe Tony's paintings because
yeah,
it captures the energy, doesn't it?
and I thought it was, I just thought it was really nice as well, just to post that in again. It's that thing
Yeah,
about, because it's not about comparison, or not in a sense of, ranking or rating or anything like that, but it is that how we express, how we see something, how we express
yeah,
something. and I don't know. I just thought it was. I don't know. I just yeah. I was really pleased seeing it.
It's nice.
I thought it was a really nice thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also not only is it nice that he's fancied having a go as well and then putting yours with his and posting it, it's like the support of
Yeah.
another artist.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so I think
Absolutely.
as an artist, there's so many people that can be quite bitter about
Yeah.
things when they see someone else do something and I've met people like that myself. And you just think, I've got no time for that because, you know, they might do things more loosely
Yeah. Yeah.
and I do things
Yeah.
more precise. But
Yeah.
there might be a person that comes along and says, well, I don't really like yours because it's very precise. I
Yeah.
like it more movement and loose
Yeah. Yeah.
and you know, you get your different people, different audiences, and there's always somebody for that particular piece, no matter
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so important never ever to compare yourself to other artists.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
be, because it's not there's not one piece better than another.
Yeah.
They're all on the same league because it all depends on who wants to buy
Yeah.
it, who enjoys visually looking at it, and who gets pleasure from looking at that piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was talking to my brother yesterday, Dan,
Mm.
shout out. He's a follower. He
Hi,
loves
Dan.
podcasts and looks forward to these. And I know he started commenting on your posts. And yeah,
Yeah.
we were having a chat yesterday. Dan's a very good artist as well, and he
Oh,
also
really?
yeah, and he loves music. He plays the guitar really well, and he's recorded an album, but like just for him. He said he's not just, and it is that, it's that expression. And we were talking about like how we have our style of doing things, and he said, this is who I am, and this is my style, and it's about being as good at doing that as possible. And because I've said that, what
Yeah.
I said to you about that, well, sometimes I'm a creative, and it's like when you said about comparing, because it's very easy when you do that to think mine's not this, mine's not that, mine's not the other, rather than
It is.
focus on what it is. And
Yeah.
it's a reflection of who we are as well, isn't it? Because when you're saying that about, some people being more precise, some people being more loose, I think going back to what you're saying about oil painting, I have not got the patience for that. Could not do, could, I mean, I say couldn't do it. It just doesn't. And I tried watercolor. My kids bought some watercolors, and I just couldn't, because I didn't feel I could
I'm not keen
control
on
it.
watercolors.
I didn't feel I could control it at all.
Yeah.
And so that my style and what I choose to paint, it reflects who I am. That I like to
Yeah.
don't have much patience. Right, I'm pretty much getting done with this now. I want it finished. I want to move on to the next one. But I want it to be, to feel in control of the process. And so yeah, it's really interesting that like with like you're learning about yourself as well, as you go through it.
You do. And I believe, like, this sounds so stupid, like cheesy, let's say, but I believe that I've got more confident with my artwork because of me having my art page.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
when you first start to post stuff and everyone's going to see it, it can be quite daunting. And you're like, well, I'm opening myself
yeah,
up to the world, and it is scary. But I think that once you've got used to doing that and you've got used to handling comments, whether they're negative or positive,
yeah,
you get like a more confident about it. And as time goes on, it becomes easier. And
yeah,
now
yeah,
I'm at a point where if I like the piece I've done, I will post it with no regrets or apologies.
yeah,
I'll be 100. If I post a piece of my work, it's because I'm 100% happy with how
yeah,
it looks. And the way it looks is how I wanted it to look, or
yeah,
I wouldn't post it. And so I mean, I have had comments before where they've said like, "Oh, that doesn't look right," or "This doesn't." I mean, my dad, my dad will tell me the truth if he's like, "Oh, I don't like that one."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
again, that comment from my dad would have upset me like years ago. But if he said that to me now, I'd say, "Well, I like it, and I
yeah,
don't care
yeah,
what you think. That's all that
yeah,
matters is that I like it." And I think that when you say there about you couldn't control the watercolor, right? I won't lie, I don't really like the watercolors myself. It depends. I have used them in the
yeah,
past, and I have got a few pieces that I have liked that I've used them on. They're not my go-to piece. It's not something I would choose and I enjoy using. I use it for a little bit of a change. But I think the people that do use them, it's because you can't control the
Yeah,
paint.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
why they like
yeah,
it,
yeah,
because it kind of goes its own way.
yeah,
I'm not singing, was it Fleetwood Mac?
yeah. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah,
But it does, it goes its own way, and it goes on its own little journey around the page or
yeah.
the canvas. And I think that's what a lot of people like about that in particular.
I would
You
like
when
to
they
learn
use
how.
the watercolor.
I would like to learn how to use it because I think it
Mhm.
looks a good watercolor painting looks beautiful, and
Yeah.
again, you just capture a different mood with it, don't you? And um, but yeah, I mean, one of the things I wanted to share as well quickly, and talking about kind of confidence in your art and the impact of
Mm.
it. I was saying on the last podcast how I painted a fighter, Gerald McClellan, who got hurt, and he got badly brain damaged in a fight, and I painted him and I sent it. I was able to get it to him through his
That's so lovely.
yeah
That is really lovely.
through his sister. And anyway, I so a couple of weeks ago I sent it before Christmas, and it was meant to be there by the following week, but because of the Christmas,
Oh,
it took longer. But anyway, so I opened up my social media one day, as you do, and his sister had posted a photo of Gerald McClellan holding my painting of him.
oh,
And on,
that's special. That.
but honestly, I was speechless. Like, it's really hard to put into words like how I felt. It's like, because it really affected me what happened to him.
Yeah,
Having watched it, having been a lover of boxing, to see the damage it does, and to have been essentially cheering on that what ultimately happened to him, awful. And
yeah.
he um and like you said, like I say, he's badly brain damaged now. His sister became his family became his carers. So it's like over 30 years ago now. And just seeing
Really sad. It
it
is.
is, and then seeing
Yeah.
the picture of him holding it, and it's a photo of him in his prime as a when he was a boxer, was just it's just really powerful and emotional. Having watched him,
It is.
followed, following what happened. I watched documentaries and things like that. Um, yeah, it just honestly, it was such a powerful thing, and I felt really emotional and touched by it. And it's something about that in some way, it's like I don't know, it's like I'd been able to. One of the things I said to his sister was, it's like it's my way of saying you're not forgotten.
Yeah.
That
That's lovely.
you
That.
have to.
That is.
He's in a totally different world now, where he's damaged in different ways, and
Mm.
but it's like you still matter, and that's still you as well. That fighter, that spirit. I don't. It's hard to put it in words, but honestly, and
I,
anyway,
I know. I know exactly what you mean, and what's really special there about that situation is, so you gave back with your art, which is what you
yeah,
did,
yeah,
but
yeah,
your art gave back to you.
yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 absolutely. And she'd said that his dad's like 85-year-old, said his dad like just loves his son, and we're gonna give it to his dad, and when his dad
Oh,
passes, they're gonna have it back at
yeah,
home. And I just thought that it means something to his
that's
family. It's not
lovely.
just him; it's his family, and
Yeah.
yeah, and then seeing with her posting it, and
Mm.
obviously they're very connected in the boxing world. Seeing who was reacting to the post was like, he's a former world heavyweight champion, one of the kind of boxing referees that's refereed a load of world title fights, and also the kind of the main boxing artist that there is, who does a lot of the
Wow.
he does a lot of the paintings for like magazine covers for big pay-per-view fights. The
Yeah.
posters, he paints most of the posters for big
Wow.
fights. So Canelo Crawford recently, Joshua Jake Paul, he does the paints for them, and he's a great painter. And
Mm.
I thought, oh wow, like wow,
That is a lovely
it's like
compliment when somebody like that likes it,
yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
and like yeah, it's amazing when you think about it. But and you know, my brother says, oh, it's unbelievable that, and it is, but
It
that's the
is.
thing, and it's like where we've seen. I mean, the one that was like, I always stands out for me with you is like Donald Trump having, yeah, and it's that things are unbelievable, but anything can happen at the same time.
Mm,
I think I'll send my painting to somebody. I'll try and get them to because ultimately they're all human beings. Whether you're famous or not, you're human beings, and if someone sees something in you and recognizes it and paint, I think that's very. And I think there's a reason portrait painting has lasted, amongst the,
yeah,
cameras and this and that, but there's still power in a portrait painting. And
yes.
yeah, it's just I don't know, there's something about that the possibilities of art, both on a personal level and then touching others. It's yeah, it's incredible, incredible.
It's like art is like something that can be just passed on for generations. You can
Yeah,
be remembered by a single painting hundreds of years after you've passed
yeah,
away.
yeah.
And it's crazy when you think about the impact that your artwork can have on others as well. It's yeah, and the fact that you had all them lovely comments and the likes,
Oh
and even
yeah,
just the fact the
yeah.
family loved it so much, that must be so special for you.
Oh yeah.
Um, I think it feeds your soul. Art feeds your soul.
It,
It really, really does. I believe that 100%.
it does. It does. Well, where are we? Right. Final thing. Um, did you want to share? Because I know you've got a project on the go at the moment that is
Mhm.
something different, and I know it's very special to you. And I've seen some lovely stuff you posted about like your teacher and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, so would you like to share anything about the book that you're working on?
Yeah. So I decided to do a children's book first. So I'm working on two things, as you do. So I've got the children's book that I'm working on, and I basically painted a picture of like an illustration style painting. And I just thought, right, what could I do? So I wanted him to be like a palette. So I won't give it all away because you have to read the book to find out what happens. But um, a lovely gentleman from my page who I know really well lives in my area. Very, very lovely man. Um, I was calling my palette person one, and I didn't have a name for him, and I wasn't sure if I was going to name him at first. And then Rob, he's called Rob Harvey. He said, "Right, he looks like a Pedro," and it stuck. So I'm going to put a little bit in my book, like a dedication thing, like to thank Rob for naming Pedro as the man who named Pedro. So yeah, it's about a little palette man, really, a little palette person, and he wakes up one morning and he's lost all of his spots. So he goes on a journey to find where his spots are. And the ending has a little bit of a sort of like an emotional twist.
All right.
But I won't say where he found them or,
Great.
how he found them, because that's the special ending. But yeah, that's my first little project that I'm doing. And I am almost finished.
So
I've
I love the
what
illustration.
I'm
Yeah,
doing. Yeah, I'm drawing the illustrations out myself, and then I'm painting them with watercolor and adding a bit of pencil,
yeah.
photographing them, putting them onto Canva. And this is all new to me. Never used Canva before my whole life.
Put in it.
So
I love Canva.
yeah, so I'm putting it into my book page. And then sometimes it looks fine as it is. Sometimes you think the background looks a little bit bare, and Canva has like colours that you can underlay on
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
illustration. So I'm trying to another thing as well is when I had done my illustrations, the colours I'd like them quite pastely.
Right.
But
Okay.
when they got transferred to the book they were like invisible. So I had to deepen the colour like with a filter to try and lift
Yeah,
that brightness back out. So yeah, but they are done by hand, but enhanced slightly when I've put them on the actual Canva. Otherwise you wouldn't have seen them hardly. So, but yeah, I didn't like doing that though. I felt like, I don't know, felt like I was saying to John, it'll be okay to do that. What I mean, it's still my drawing. I drew it.
yeah, and
Mm,
even there, and you're making it look like how it should, because there is
yeah,
again, there's a difference, isn't there? It's like, I suppose, having a song on record and singing it live. It's
yeah,
the
I
same thing.
suppose.
There's a difference to it, and you still created it all. I don't think there's
Yeah.
any, and that's it. It is hard to reproduce something exactly how it is. So no, I think
Mm.
no, and Canva's fantastic for that. I think, and the fact that
Yeah,
it can give you the colors that are in the image that you've given it, and so that you can build a background or whatever. It's so no, I think that's say, because it's not it's a what is initially an individual illustration. It's
yeah.
part of a book, and it's a different thing, isn't it?
I mean, luckily I did outline Pedro on all of the pages where he's always black outlined and he's
Yeah,
always white. So that was quite easy. I mean, I'm so glad I didn't pick a really difficult, technical character because I'd have still been there doing the first page. But I think the front cover was the hardest because it took so much designing. I'd never done anything like
yeah,
that in my life. So that was it took me days and probably almost a week to arrange and sort that out. Um, but I've done all my stories all written out. Everything's done apart from I've still got a few more illustrations to finish. And then I need to upload it. I think it's the editing, making sure that the writing's in the right place.
yeah,
Does it sit
yeah,
well? Does the page layout look well? That's probably the hardest part for me, I think.
yeah,
Um, so that's my first thing that is going to get published, and that should be put. I was hoping for January, but I did say it may be February.
yeah,
So that was my little deadline that I had mentally
yeah.
for myself. So that'll be done, I would say February. And then I am working on a poetry book as well. So the book is called Sorry, I Was Thinking,
Right.
and it's about just random shit that goes through my head. I mean, there's a
Oh,
poem about my eyelids. There's all different random. There's some poems in there that are quite funny.
yeah.
There's some that are very educational, like about a certain thing or person, and they've got a lot of facts in there, and you can learn something by reading them ones.
Okay.
There's some like serious ones, some really, really deep ones. I have added some of them. And there's some just light-hearted ones as well. They're
Yeah.
all different. I just thought, what can I call this book? Because the way that my mind works, I wrote one walking home from the school 2 days ago about litter on the floor. Because I looked around and I was like, who dropped that there? Right, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
So I've got my phone out and I'm typing on my phone so I don't forget it because they can
Yeah,
happen
yeah,
at the
yeah.
most random
Well,
times.
something just comes to you and you have to capture it, don't you?
Yeah,
That's one of the things I loved
yeah,
about writing poetry. And for me, it was always because, it's something I've done as well. And it just, it's either a word or a line just comes to you.
yeah,
I'd,
it does.
I'd always just write one line at a time. It sounds an obvious thing, but once you write that line, the next one comes, the next one. And it's like, so
Yeah,
you don't necessarily start with the poem. It's just a single thing that becomes a poem, and you've got to capture it when it's there. It's
we've got to because there's been times where I've thought, right, oh, I've got this good one in my head then. I get home and it's just whoosh,
yeah, yeah,
gone. So you have to capture it while it's there.
yeah,
Otherwise it'll be lost forever.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you've got to. And it was just like I could be washing the pots and I'll just say a line in my head
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then I'll think of the next one straight away and I'm
yeah,
like, oh
yeah,
God, where's my book? And I keep repeating it so I don't
yeah,
forget
yeah,
it. And then I'm writing it down and then I'll scribble it down on my little book that I've got. And then later on I'll go on the laptop and I've been typing them all out and saving them on there. Um, but this one once I'm, because I'm still writing that at the moment. I'm not fully finished writing the poems. But once it's written out, that should be pretty straightforward to publish because I'm not adding all illustrations to it. And I
Yeah.
think that's what's more time consuming is
Yeah.
the illustrations on the children's book.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you.
All right. Can I
Do
just
you think,
quickly comment a couple of things on what
yeah,
you said? Don't forget your question.
of course, yeah.
But I think one of the things I found, like when you were describing how it kind of came to you and stuff, I think I found with
Mm,
poetry, say I've written like a book that was a kind of exploration of things I was going through. Obviously, I painted, but to me, writing poetry was the kind of way of expressing myself that felt most like I don't know,
same thing.
like you're part of a bigger thing. That it's not
Yeah,
coming from you, you're capturing something from elsewhere. That's how writing poetry felt to me. Makes it
yeah.
very grand. People might think, well, who the hell sent you that? It's rubbish. But it's like, but it felt like, yeah, like it didn't come from me. It's a weird thing, but that's how it felt to me.
It
And
subconsciously comes. That's what it is.
yeah, yeah. And the other thing, when you're saying about illustration, this is one of the things I've thought with like having like you say watercolors that I wouldn't mind
Yeah,
adding illustrations to a few of the poems that I've written. For kind of like social media to share and present it in a different way.
yeah,
Because I think that's something that again it can be very powerful, that combination of that an image with the words. So at some point that might be a project I take on. But yeah.
mm.
Anyway, over to your question.
So what would you recommend? So now I've got another question now,
Oh,
Matthew.
okay.
What have you done? And we're just fighting over asking each other questions as well there. So would you recommend adding illustrations to poems then?
I think it's a personal thing, isn't it? So I love. I'm trying. I must have. Hang on. I'll get her books here. Where so Rupi. I think you pronounce it Kaur. Um. No, I've got loads of her poetry. Well, I say loads. However many she's written, I've got them all. I can't find them. But anyway, two things in there. So like Milk and Honey is the probably the most well known. And so her book she has simple illustrations with some of the poems, not all of them, but with some. And it's
Right.
very simple illustration. It's um, just line drawn. Um, I think. See, when it comes to stuff like that, I just think it's I'm going to sound like arty farty, but it is that do what you're driven to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think there is a right or wrong. I think sometimes you might feel it either needs it or would benefit from it, or that it's not complete without that. I mean, I don't think I say because when I wrote mine, I couldn't, I hadn't started
yeah,
or anything. But even then, a few of them I just would scribble in a notebook. I don't know that I was just wanted to add something to it. So
yeah.
uh, I think I certainly don't think it's necessary. And like a poetry book works very well on its own. So I put mine into a book. But I think as an artist like you are, I think there may well be some where you'll just feel
Yeah.
not called, but that you want
It's, I
maybe
kind of think,
separate things. I think a
it's,
book and that, or there can be.
yeah, I think if you were going to do it, or if I was going to do it, it would probably be like a ballpoint pen sort of drawing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it would just be very small at the bottom of the poem rather than like taking up the page.
Well, that's so Rupi Kaur. Like I think that's how you pronounce. I'm annoyed that I can't find a book because basically I've got books everywhere in my house. But I'll get it for next time. But that's what she does, and
Right.
but I think again there can be different things, can't there? Because you could have a small paperback book with with the poems written. You could have a big hardback glossy with the poem with a really big watercolor. You could have
Mm,
it as card deck.
yeah.
There's so many things you could. There's so many things you can do with it. I think it's that um, follow your creative instinct with it. I'd say.
Yeah. I think some of them don't need them.
Yeah.
Some of them may. I think maybe the deeper ones that I've written may benefit from something more.
So
Um,
sorry, I was going to
Sorry.
say, I think the thing it's when you write a book, you know when you've expressed what you want to. You know when it's finished, don't you? You know when that
Yeah.
captured what I wanted to. And I think maybe that's the sometimes you want the focus just to be on the words, and you know when that's all it should be.
Yeah.
There probably will be others where, not necessarily in the book, but where at some point that it would become something else with an illustration as well. And you'll know,
Like complement,
yeah,
it would complement it. Yeah.
yeah, and you'll know what
Well, the other question I had for you was, do you think that a poem can be too long?
no,
Right. Just
no.
because while I've
And it
been
can't
reading
be too
my
short
poems out,
either.
there's been a couple of poems that I've had the comments from like loved ones that have wanted to be honest with me and said, I think that that poem, it's good, but it seems too long for me. I'd have lost interest by now. And I'm not talking like 4 pages long. It's just like longer, maybe 2 pages.
No, no. The key words you said there for me
Yeah.
were all different, and I I know with I can ramble on forever, as you know. And like with some of my work, I'll post rambling videos. I've also got some, not many, admittedly, short, succinct ones. Because people are different. And
Yeah,
it's
true.
like you ultimately, people might say, well, whether you write for your audience or this and that. But I, if you're purely about expressing yourself,
Well, that's what this book is. Because my argument
other
was,
people think doesn't come into that process of you writing it, to me.
yeah. Well, my thought process on this particular book is sorry I was thinking. And I did say to the person, like, well, at the end of the day, I'm saying sorry, I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if my poems are 600 foot long, but I was thinking, and that's what I thought of in that moment. And that's what the book is. It's not about me trying to be the best. It's not about me trying to please everybody. It's about what I was thinking,
Yeah.
hence the title. And it's just about all the random things that I think about. I mean, I've gone from like, I think two of my poems are about 2 pages, a page and a half.
Yeah.
And then I've got this random poem that's 2 sentences.
Yeah.
And it just goes up and down. And there's some that are shorter and some that are longer. But yeah, it's about what I wanted to write, really.
Yeah. Because as well with word, the thing I love about poems, because you're capturing like it's like rhythm and mood,
Yeah.
and sometimes like and momentum. Like I like sometimes in my writing to like you lead someone to this point, and then you want to stop them or make them pause, or you're kind of playing with words in a way that
Yeah.
you it's about what you want it to be, and yeah, and that they'll connect with who they're for, and that's the beauty of it. Like if they've got a book and well, skip the long ones then if they're not for you, it's fine.
Yeah, that's very true. I think as well it's about like everyday life as well. It's about, I mean, I was walking to the school well, couple of months back, and let's just say the slowest walking person of all time was walking in front of me. Now, I am one of these people that has to get somewhere and get there fast. When I go walking somewhere with John, he's like, da da da, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh wait, too slow. And he's like, slow down. He's like, enjoy the view and I'm like, but I don't like to. If I physically cannot walk slow, I have to
no,
be constantly moving.
I used to be,
And
I used to be like that, and my joints are ruined now, so my kids would probably disagree. But
I can't bear it. And when somebody gets in front of me, right, and they can see that I'm like
yeah,
trying to get by like a pigeon, bobbing along, and I'm like, and what happens is they have a child in tow and they're holding the kid's hand, stretching them along the path to
yeah,
take up the whole bloody path. And then they're walking slow, making the kid walk slow, and you still can't get past.
they
So I
don't,
wrote a poem about that.
they don't walk in a straight line. Dawdlers, I hate dawdlers. Yeah, no, see
Oh,
that will
that,
be. See, and that now that's an example of something. I'm not saying on that poem, but that's an example.
yeah.
Obviously, I don't know what the poem is, but just saying that, see, that's an example of, I suppose, of how you use words, because that if you wanted to, you can express there it's dawdling or the
Yeah.
spreading out or the yeah, and how you use words. 'Cause it's not just what you're saying; it's the order and the rhythm that you can capture
Mm.
meandering and irritation and
Well, I wanted to capture like a bit of a rant in that poem, like a bit
yeah.
of like frustration. And when I read it out to John, he was like, "Oh,
I
let's
remember.
just say I wrote it as I thought it, but I think it needs work because the language in it's not the best, and I don't really think that it may be a great idea to leave in the words I've used."
Well, again, it's a personal thing. I remember writing one. I'd been at my local, and there was an absolute bell end in there. It was being really obnoxious and loud, and started picking on my brother, and like I
Oh God.
kind of didn't take to that too well, and yeah, and yeah, and I ranted a poem about it.
At least he came in handy then for that
Yeah, I'll have to
reason.
find it. Uh, yeah, I'll find it for the next one because I like. But yeah, that was. But no, and I like that. That I think it'll be great that like that the random nature of it and observational stuff. There'll be people that everyday thing that people can relate to, and that's where with poetry there can be a lot of snobbiness around it, or from people think it has to be this or has to be that or has to be inaccessible. And so Rupi Kaur, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, might be Kaur, but anyway, she has had a lot of stake and a lot of criticism. I'll tell you what, there's a woman, Jane Ashworth. Uh, I've got a book, one of the books here, on loss, that I bought after Anne Marie passed. And so she's like, you can see there's
Yeah.
kind of illustrations on some of them, and yeah, on others, and
You're
getting.
cutting up. You're cutting out a bit there, Matthew.
Sorry, can you see? Oh yeah. Oh,
I can see you, but do you know what? I hope to God it just captured what I heard because that was hilarious.
oh.
You said you opened the book and you went, and it captures illustrations.
No, I'm not having a
That's
stroke.
exactly how it was like slowed down.
Yeah, I didn't say it like that.
That was so funny.
If you can hear me, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
Right.
fine now. It was just you were like really slow.
So she's someone, and Rupi, that they've been really criticised by people that that's not real poetry. So,
Right.
but it's very popular. This has been so hers has been the biggest selling poetry books um, over the last few
Wow.
years, and she
So what
posted.
was the reason that it was
So that's Donna
what was
Ashworth
the reason that they said it?
because
No, like why it's not real poetry? What was the reasoning for that?
it's simple because the thing it doesn't have any artistic merit because
Right.
but and it's true, it's trite or there's no emotional depth, but it's accessible. There's a difference, and when you're
Yeah.
going through, and it's relatable.
Mm.
You don't have to read a dictionary or wonder what it is she's trying to say, and
Yeah, that's very
that's
true.
and I mean, I'd like to think I write in that way. I might not. I might talk total bollocks, but someone who bought this, that was resonated and helped me at a very difficult time. it's like, well,
Mm.
that's not for you, then you don't have to slag her off. And she wrote, say she sold, I don't know how many, but she sold a lot of books, which for a poetry book, because not many people go out and buy poetry. So the fact that
No, I don't know.
is very impressive. And she posted something on social media where it was one of the major newspapers slagged her off, and it really
Oh,
affected her. It really
that's terrible.
affected her. And she got a lot of support. And I can't remember whether a message or just posted it on on the post. But she was replying individually to each one. Uh,
Yeah,
that she was great because it's that we are individuals that are grateful for it again is whether you can pull something apart for artists merit, but it's about connecting with people for me. And
it is. And a lot of people can connect and relate to something that is more spoken in
yeah,
like the everyday term, let's
yeah,
say, rather than,
dropping a
you
few
know,
words in there.
well, yeah, I suppose. And if I was going to read a poem, if it was very like, oh, and she wandered along and observed this and saw this, and like that wouldn't like, if it was using all these massive words that I wouldn't have a clue what they meant, I would not enjoy reading that because I wouldn't know what it was trying to say to me.
And it's not you
Yeah,
as well, it wouldn't be an expression of you. And so I just think that
exactly. Yeah.
it's a
And,
sniffy
and
thing.
I don't really often speak with a dictionary in my gob, so yes, it wouldn't be me.
Thing, isn't it, that if it speaks to the common person, it can't have merit unless it speaks to, these very deep intellectual bit. And it's just snobbery, it's bollocks. But yeah, in terms
Yeah,
of
I agree.
when you said about whether a poem can be too long, I mean, you look at Paradise Lost, John Milton and Dante's Inferno, where the epic poems. I think and the Greek ones, the Iliad, the Odyssey. I've not read them, but I think they're poems. But that
Yeah,
historically, you have these epic poems. So, like Paradise Lost by John Milton is about the the fall of kind of Satan, the fallen angel. It's got the Garden of Eden, and it's about say the temptation and the falling of Satan, and say hundreds of I don't know how many pages, but hundreds of pages. It's a single poem. It's so yeah that there's no rules on length. So yeah.
like I knew there wasn't any kind of rules on it, but it was more like, would I don't know, would you enjoy reading a very long poem, or would you get bored of reading it?
But isn't it? But it's how engaging it is as well, isn't it? Because this is a thing in my work, right? So here, right, uh,
Yeah.
I can waffle on for hours, and some people might like that. A lot of people might think, "Shut up, Matthew, give it a break." But and we have this conversation twice. One, we'll stick to this amount of time, and we never do, And
We never do, no, because you waffle just like me. So we're like,
yeah, and if people
probably
like,
the worst two people to have a podcast, or maybe the best two people to put together for a podcast. Depends what way you're looking at it.
exactly, and that's exactly it, isn't it? Things will find the
Yeah.
audience right for them, and if you over, I think if you start thinking too much of what other people want or expect or would like or what wouldn't like, it
Mhm.
can tie you in knots. I think you overthink,
Yeah.
and then you're not then expressing you. And I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
maybe what that's part of writer's block or artist block that I imagine that you hear often like with bands where they have a very successful album where it's very hard to
Mm.
follow up because suddenly, and particularly where if it's your first album, because you wrote that purely, as unknowns with no expectations. Once you've
Yeah.
sold a million or you're known, well, suddenly that comes into the thinking. Well, what are people expecting? Do you do the same thing again, or do they want something different? You'll get criticized for
Yeah.
either because that's the
Yeah,
way
you would.
the music press works. So, and you lose the joy of creating because, and then you're part of an industry. And so I think
Well,
being able to just purely express yourself without,
mm,
I think is a gift really. And I think if you can do that, you should.
it's that is really true actually, and it is like I think it's a gift inside all of us to be able to express ourselves in our own way. because that's why people want to read it, because they find it interesting to see what goes on in other people's minds.
Yeah, yeah,
But it was also, I don't think I would get ever feel like where I would ever feel under any kind of pressure with it as such,
yeah,
because the reason I want to write a poetry book is because I've always wrote poems from being a kid, and that's how I would deal with like sad
yeah,
things and sad feelings. And so some of my poetry I wrote when I was a kid, I look back and think, God, that is really dark, you know.
yeah,
Um, but it was at a time in my life where I felt at my lowest,
yeah,
probably, or one of my lowest, and it sort of like captures me in that moment. But then, you know, as I've got older, I've written happier ones. But it's kind of like when I was young, I wanted to write a short story and publish it because I was writing a lot anyway.
yeah.
And I'd wrote to a publisher who turned me away because I was a child.
That's
But
it.
they'd wrote me this letter.
Yeah,
Yeah, they'd wrote me a letter and I'd got it in the post. I'd have been about 11, I think. Um, and it came and I was gutted and it really like disheartened me. And I think that's probably in a way why I thought, oh, it's no point trying sort of thing as a kid, knowing you get frustrated. And I just carried on just to do it for myself. But I always said to myself, one day I'm going to publish a book and I
yeah,
will do it. And I told myself I would. And then obviously my English teacher gave me quite a lot of encouragement as well and helped my confidence. But it was for me, it's not about. I know this sound probably it sounds like I'm making a book for all the wrong reasons. Maybe I don't know,
uh,
but it's kind of like I don't want to make a book because I want it to sell.
yeah,
I want to make a book because I want to make a book.
yeah. I
And
get
I
that.
want to be able to see what I've written be in a book.
Yeah,
Because if that book is published, I've achieved already what I always wanted. Now,
yeah,
if people buy it, that would be amazing, obviously.
yeah,
I'm not going to say I don't want anyone buying it. But it's kind of like it's a compliment to me if people buy it.
yeah,
But if nobody ever bought it, I wouldn't be
yeah,
upset. It's just about having it there, knowing that I've
yeah.
achieved that one thing I've always wanted to do.
That's like when saying about my brother with his album. That's exactly.
Yes,
And you
it
know,
is actually, isn't it? Yeah, that's true,
yeah,
that.
and no, I get that. And you know, when you that about kind of different motivations and being able to express ourselves reminded me of do you remember Prince when he started writing slave on his cheek and everyone thought he was like oh, so, you know, a lot of people thought he was like off his trolley and just being, but actually as I've got older he was incredible. You know, he could play just about every instrument going as a virtuoso. He could sing, he could dance, he could write, and he was extremely prolific. And the whole thing
Yeah,
with the slave thing was that he was so creative and he churned out so much material and he wanted it out there, but the record industry didn't work like that. You know, it's driven by they want to profit from his work, and it's like
yeah,
you have a lead single and you have an album, you have a release schedule, and then you've got to tour, you've got to go on all the different shows to promote it, then you've got to go on tour, and then so your next album might be a couple of years down the line. That wasn't for him because he was creating it. He wanted to put stuff out. He'd have put stuff out every day, and like, and so
imagine YouTube
that
was
was
around then.
yeah, and so yeah, they have that conflict between the creative and the business side of it. I think George Michael had a similar thing, and
Yeah,
so and that's one of the things, like I say, with you, with the internet and social media, um, it has, and the music industry still hasn't figured it out about how to monetize things now,
mm,
where people are streaming a lot more and you don't need a record company to
yeah. You can get noticed on
play
TikTok
stuff.
these days just
Yeah,
by singing on there, and
yeah. And with art, I mean, you know, like even the opportunities like we've had, you know, like used to be you needed an agent and to be represented, and you know, that's obviously still a part, but you can still um pursue art, you know,
yeah.
to whatever level you want to. There's a lot of other ways to do it now that
I think social media is it. it lets you represent yourself on
Yeah,
so many levels, and it's about um where if we wanted our art seen by others now, me and you would have to go around every gallery in town. We'd have
yeah,
to go around, please, will you show my work?
yeah,
And if that one person who, because they have these art critics, don't they, who come round and, oh, well, I don't like that one.
yeah,
So if that one person doesn't like your painting, that can stop any kind of art career coming your way. So
yeah,
one person's decision can, can prevent you from reaching what you could
yeah,
reach if it weren't for
yeah,
that. And I think that the way it is now, it's we can show our artwork with not only the surrounding areas. If it was in an art gallery, the people that live in the area would see it. We're showing our work worldwide
yeah,
because at the end of the day,
yeah,
the internet is in every country,
yeah.
and everybody can log on and look at your stuff. So for me, I see social media as an absolutely extra large art gallery.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's what they say
Yeah.
about like so having a book. That's what they say like so with Amazon, it's the biggest bookshop in the world, but obviously it's
Yeah.
not a physical space, and you don't need to have a book in a bookshop to be a bestseller. And it's saying the world's very different now. Going back to the whole poetry thing and the snobbery, I think part of that and why Donna Ashworth and Rupi Kaur have had criticism because that as an art form, it was quite exclusive, I guess. And then you have gatekeepers, so that kind of
Yeah.
arbiters of taste, if you like. We say if something's good, and then we'll publish it, and other people can see it.
Hate that.
And the social media has taken that away because we can
It is.
get our work directly to
Mm,
people. You don't have to go through a gatekeeper. And so obviously it's like anything when there's any change, the people who had that power control suddenly don't anymore. Well, what's their role now? And and that
Well, their role now is flipped.
yeah,
They were the ones who had all the control before, telling people you're not good enough to have your work in
yeah,
here.
yeah,
You're not good enough to sell a book. No, see you later on your bike. But now we're well, I think I'm good enough. I'll put it
yeah,
out there.
absolutely, yeah,
And so now we've got the control, and they can't prevent people from trying to better themselves in what
yeah,
they want to do and follow the dreams. And I think you should be able to represent yourself on everything
yeah,
that you do,
absolutely,
because who can make a decision? It's like me saying to you, Matthew, your work, yeah, it's okay, but people aren't going to want to see it, so you can't come to
yeah,
my gallery,
yeah,
right? But the people in the gallery could see you walking by after I've just turned you away, carrying your canvas, and go, wow, look at, oh my
yeah,
God, I love that.
yeah,
So how would I know what them people want to see? And
exactly,
and and art, art galleries and things like that, I think that they should automatically give everybody a chance to have their work in there, because they aren't the people who are viewing it.
yeah, yeah,
They are only the people who are
yeah,
showing it. And
yeah,
I don't think anybody, well, they can't, it's impossible to know what your audience is thinking, because there's so
absolutely,
many different people in the
yeah,
area. How can they possibly pinpoint, well, that would do well and that
yeah.
wouldn't? Because they don't know. And everybody should be on the same level when it comes to
Yeah.
art galleries.
It's interesting because I think about human nature, isn't it? Where there's a side where there's people who very much believe in being inclusive and things being
Mm.
accessible to as many people as possible. There's others where they want it to be exclusive, where
Yeah,
it's part of human nature where we want to hang on to something and this is our club. You have to be like this or like us to be part
yeah.
of, and I think it's human.
You've got to
Yeah,
earn it. You've got to
yeah,
earn your way in, and it's
yeah.
it's not always very fair.
And especially like different generations where like say I look at boxing, like where there's sometimes people you have fighters who've had to do it the hard way, they call it, so like boxing for very little on small hall shows without a big contract to start, never being given any favors or, as in any being the home fighter, this and that. And then someone will get an Olympic medal, come out with a big contract. And, Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard are the kind of example that are often given of they fought and they were from very different backgrounds. But that's it. There can be resentment from those that have done it a certain way towards, but ultimately they're both, obviously valid ways of achieving. you know, and that six, we're all
I
different.
think it is sometimes about you know, if you know somebody who owns a gallery
Yeah,
or you
yeah,
know them sort of things, it can be easier. But from what I've learned um for myself is when you've had to earn it yourself and you've had to build yourself up and
yeah,
you know nobody's had my work and said I'll post it to my
yeah,
page with all these million people, you know, and said let's get you know all these new people following your work. I mean, don't get me wrong, there has been people who've shared my content
yeah,
and I will always be very
yeah,
grateful for that. But you know, that's along the way of the journey. But to get to that point where I was already doing these sort of artworks was a lot of, you know, sweat and tears.
yeah,
And you work hard to get where you are, and people
yeah,
don't realize that, you know, the concentration levels that you've got to sit and do for hours on end, and how you know exhausting that can be at times. And it's you love it in that moment.
yeah,
It's very difficult to transition back to I'm just going to go and cook
yeah,
my kids' tea. So I think it's about the harder that you've worked to get to a certain point, you can look back and say, I've earned that and feel really proud of yourself, you
yeah,
know, rather than me saying, well, I own this gallery, Matthew, bring your stuff here and just hand it to you on a plate. As
yeah,
much
yeah,
as we'd all want it handed on a plate because it would be a lot easier, I think
yeah,
you get a lot more of self-respect and you know, you're proud of yourself more to
yeah,
know that you've actually achieved that yourself and nobody's helped you
yeah.
and made you, you know, get where you are.
Well, it's all about it is, it's all about the journey, isn't it? If, you know,
Yeah,
we're all, and that, and, you know, and everyone's is different and individual. And it goes back to that whole thing of comparison, you know, you can't necessarily compare yourself to others and, oh, well, they've had
mm,
this and they've had this advantage. And, you know, we're all different. We've all got our own. And I think again, we've got to stick to our own path and not
yeah,
get distracted by, well, they've had that. And it's like, well, if that opportunity is closed to me, how can I create an
yeah,
opportunity? And that's
yeah,
hard. It's tough. And we sometimes resent that. But again, it comes down to a choice, isn't there? Well, we can either give up or quit, or we can think, right, well, I'll find a way. And
if
yeah.
you want it hard enough, you will do whatever it takes.
Well, I think that's a good moment at which to wrap up because my phone is about to die that I'm
Yeah,
hotspotting.
that's fine. To be honest, I'm actually quite starving. And
Yeah, there
I
is
need
that
to
as
eat.
well. And there is that as well. And so, yeah, it ended up being quite a marathon, that, I think. But I really
Yeah,
enjoyed it. It didn't feel like a marathon for me. So hopefully
no,
it won't for
it
the.
didn't, and it's been a little while. I mean, we've had a lot to
Yeah,
talk about, haven't
that's
we?
true. That is true. Well, uh, thank you as ever. I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, bye.
And watchers, listeners, we always say we very much appreciate any comments, any suggestions, anything that's resonated, or you know, any thoughts that you might have on any of the things that we've discussed today about cat cruelty and the changing face of the art world, and there's lots of other things we've talked about. Yeah, then you know we are
Drinking rum from
drinking
mugs,
rum from
tin
mugs,
cups.
and whether Earl Grey should have milk in it. You know, there's so much content there that you can engage with, and yeah, let us know what you think, and
Yeah,
we'll see you all again soon.
yeah, it's been great, and we have probably got a lot to carry over to the next one as well, haven't we? So we'll get that on the cards. And like Matthew said, if anybody has any questions, anything that they want to add to what we've already discussed, that would be greatly appreciated.
It certainly would. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, Nat Moss Art, and we shall speak soon.
I will do. See you later.
Bye bye.